Welcome back to Hurley's Hobbies. I've been working on the Meister F4u Corsair. I've been working on the tail wheel doors and the tail wheel and trying to figure out how I want to get these rear doors to work. I worked on it pretty much all day yesterday. This is why I stopped working on the Corsair because I got frustrated with it. I didn't want to put servos back here to operate these doors. I even tried, putting servos in to see if I could get it to function with servos, and I just was not happy with it. I tried a whole bunch of different ways, but it took me a long time yesterday to get this one door to work, to function the way I wanted it to. It's still catching a little bit on the door when it comes out. And so I'm probably still not 100% all the way there. So we'll see. I'll show you how it functions and we'll see how it works. I'll bring you in closer. So I just have a servo actuator hooked up to the roll bar gear to actuate it. I'm not actually using a controller or nothing. I just wanted to say that. Let's see, it's functioning and see what it does. You see, I got the doors to close flush down here. That's why I put that wood in there. And you see, it's not on this side. If I shut this one, you can see what I'm talking about. It's not. I know I still have to sand some of this one off a little bit on this one. But even when I close the doors, see how they're sticking up? That's what, I don't know if it's from setting, but they're both like up in the air a little bit. So I mean, I got it a lot closer. I had to open it up a little bit more compared to the way it was to try to get it to stop catching. But this is where I'm at right now. I'll open it back up and I'll show you what I did. I drilled and tapped the gear right here to put a screw in it. The tap is like really small. It's just a little dinky tap. These taps is actually from my semi kit that I got for the rear because I actually had to drill and tap the frame even with smaller taps because that's got some really small screws in it. So there's a really small screw in this spring right here. I have different tension springs. Um, they're really long, and I got some lighter tension ones that aren't as strong, and then stronger ones. The lighter ones, I tried those, and it doesn't want to work with those. It doesn't want to function correctly with the lighter springs, so I went to the heavier springs. I do have this arm here. I tried reversing the arm, and that seemed to make it worse. So, you see the wood in here. I did to strengthen it. I end up tapering that wood and the wood back here, tapering them a little bit to get it the door to flex the way I wanted it. I do have a brace here and same over here in the door. Just try to strengthen this little thin area right here. So we'll function it. But it's pulling it down with it, but it catches a little bit on the way out. You can see that it just barely touches the door on the side here. It barely touches the door when it goes in. And that's where it's catching more on the way out. So I might have to thin this out a little bit more by hand sanding it. So, but that's where we're at right now. I still got to do this side, see if I can get this side to function just as well, and work on. I'd like the mechanical of it better, trying to pull it down and open the door up more than trying to use servos. And because I'm afraid on this Corsair, I'm going to run out of channels. And that's another reason why I didn't want to use servos to pull the doors down. Plus, there's room in here, but then again, there's not a whole lot of room. Because inside of here, I got to be able to get to my rudder controls back here. And my elevator controls are back here. And so I need to get in there to it. So if I did it back here, it's going to modify how much I can actually get in here and do stuff. So that's another reason why I really didn't want to put the servos back here. But then up here, there's not a whole lot of room for anything to go in here. So the only other place was back here. And I decided not to do that back here. And it's kind of hard to function these doors off of one servo. So you'd almost have to have two servos in there. But that's what I came up with. Well, that's what I've been working on the Corsair. At least I'm back on the Corsair. The Piper Cub, the quarter scale Cub. All I really got to do to that is the front windshield. Put the side door still on, so I want to put the windshield on first, and then the top window, and then that one's going to be completely done. After I can finally get the doors going, I'm going to jump onto the back here. I still have to shape where the elevators hit on the fuselage and shape these. I still got to permanently mount the front of the elevators onto the fuselage. Finish. I got to finish putting filler in here and filling everything in once I get these mounted on. And the same back here, and then I got to go through from it just being around the hobby room. I have spots that I have to fill on the whole fuselage. Besides getting this done, the only thing left with the fuselage is the cockpit, the canopy, which I don't want to do anything with the canopy until after I get it fiberglass, and mounting the fuel tanks and all the electronics inside. And I'm going to do all that after I get it fiberglass. The rudder is pretty much all there. I got to go double check it and see what I did. And then I can get on to the wings, making sure the wings are sanded and the way I want them. And then I can start working on the different coverings for the wings. So that's where we're at on the Corsair right now. I'm not going to time lapse or anything doing the other gear door because it's probably going to take me probably this whole day just to get this other gear door to function the way I wanted to. I have, like I say, the spring, I tried making it longer, but if it's longer, then it won't pull the doors down where they need to be. That's why I got the certain length. I would have liked to have been a little bit longer, but it is what it is. Leave in the comments below if you guys think of a different way to do it. But I thought about putting a wire underneath coming up so it just grabs the wire and pulls it down, but then the wire is going to get caught on something most likely for the steerable tail wheel. I actually did try wire, and that was just turned out to be a nightmare. So it's just limited on what I can do. I tried hooking the spring to the steering things, and then that caused more problems because then you're trying to steer the tail wheel, and then that causes these to move when you're turning. Like I say, it's just, I thought about buying little actuators, but then you don't know what length actuators to buy, and if they're too strong, they're gonna rip out of the gear doors. So that's why I didn't go with actuators. So I guess it's just the way it worked out, and that's where we're at. So I got the other side done, and originally I had this one back a little bit, so when they closed, they wouldn't hit each other, this one and this one. But in doing so, I had to end up having to move it up because it would hit the tail wheel. I took the tail wheel off. It would hit on the tail wheel really bad. So I ended up having to put them in line. Well, in doing so, these two would hit each other. So these were like 1/8 inch longer. So I drilled new holes, shorten them, and then it made these, when this goes down, it's going to be in more. So then that made it so the doors would want to pull in too far. So before I shut them the first time, I just took my little torch and I just went towards it, but I didn't even have to even touch the spring with the heat, and they would stretch a little bit. So I started out stretching them a little bit and a little bit. I mean, it doesn't take very much. You just barely get close to it and then away. But let's see how it works now. So now I got it almost there. This one needs to be probably just a hair longer. This side needs to come back down just a little bit. Need to pull that side down at the back, and this side definitely needs to come down. But see, I can reshape this. This has actually got a little bit of a bump in it right here. So I mean, maybe I won't even have to do that. Because by the time there's a little ridge right here. It goes through here. I don't know if you can see that. So maybe by the time I get that, I can shape this with just sanding. So, I mean, but right now they're functioning really nice without the tail wheel on there. So on the tail wheel, I think I'm going to have to take some of this off. I don't think it's going to weaken it that much because most of the stress is from here up to here anyways. But I think I'm going to have to take some of that off, but I'm going to try it and see how it works. And if I have to, then I'll take it off. So I got tail wheel back on. I don't have it 100% tightened. I guess I do pretty close, but let's see how it works. So it's catching somewhere a little bit. It's hitting right here. See how it just took a chunk out of it? And right there. But besides that, maybe I won't have to touch these. No. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, it's definitely hitting there. It's taking chunks out there. But I can open these up a little bit more. Or grind these down a little bit so it's not catching it. But it's not coming open as violently. But well, there we go. So maybe somebody learned something, and we can. I'll finish putting these wood pieces on like this side to get this to flex down and get these pieces in back here, and I'll be back. Well, that's where we're at with the Corsair. If you like what you're seeing, please like, subscribe, and comment, and we'll see you on the next one. Keep it building.